What are the top crypto trends for 2024? What's going to happen with Bitcoin? And how are the altcoins going to move relative to Bitcoin? What's going to happen with the ETF? This is what I'm going to talk about today on Crypto Intel. My name is Max. Please stay to the end because we're going to go through some of the narratives that are going to be very important going forward in 2024. Let's get started. Okay, so we want to take a look at some crypto trends for 2024. Where are we headed? Where have we been? Where are we going? So that's what I want to talk about right now. So let's start by taking a look at Bitcoin. And what I want to do is look at Bitcoin on, let's really step out far. Let's take a look on a 12-month basis. And we can see that right now, let me do another chart here. All right. So you can see that on a 12-month basis, normally what happens is that we have 1, 2, 3 years going up, a year going down, 1, 2, 3 years going up, a year going down, and 1, 2, and now we're in our second year going up, we'll have one more year going up. So, you know, the overall trend is for Bitcoin to move up in 2024, which is the halving year. The halving will come in April, and then continue moving up through much of 2025. Now that's if we look at past cycles, but it could be that things are working much quicker this time around. You can already see that in terms of the second year of Bitcoin, we are starting to move a bit quicker. So the bull run of this cycle could end towards the end of 2024 or even at the beginning of 2025. So that's on a long term. Now, if we take a look at some of the other indices, let's take a look at stocks. I like to look at the QQQ, and you can see that in general, on a yearly basis, we're basically trending up. We've had a negative year in 2022. We had a recovery year in 2023. Now in 2024, the question is, are we going to be able to go forward and have more gains, or are we going to retrace back? That's yet to be seen. And of course, the major factor there is probably going to be whether there's a recession or not in 2024. You know, there's a lot of talk about having a soft landing, but that rarely happens. Usually, when there's high interest rate hikes, as we've had in the past few years, that is going to lead to something breaking. And that means that there's going to be some kind of recession. It might be a mild recession. It might be a little bit heavier. There may be no recession. We just don't know. So we are in store in 2024 with volatility and some uncertainty on the stock market. That's what I'm seeing going forward. Now, again, let's go back to Bitcoin. Right now, let me get it here. Right now on Bitcoin, if we go to the weekly, you can see that we are trending nicely above this 20 moving average, 20-day moving average. As you can see in the past, as long as we're above it, we seem to trend higher. When we start to get below it, then we usually have some time where we're trending lower. We are significantly above it now. So, you know, one of the trends for 2024 is definitely going to be the ETF. And we can see some movement right in the first and second day of the year. And I think that's in anticipation of some decision on the ETF coming in the next week or so. We are certain to know one way or the other by the 9th or the 10th of January. It could be as soon as today. In fact, when you see this video, it might have already happened. Now, if the decision is positive, we're going to have a jump and then maybe a retracement back, you know, kind of if it's a sell on the news type of event. We could have retracement back. I don't expect that we're going to have that big of a retracement, not yet. I think that if the ETF is not approved, then we could have a larger retracement going down anywhere from 20 to 30%. And if we mark that out, right now you can see that if we go down, say 20%, that will bring us to about 36,000. If we go down 30%, that will bring us back down to this trend line here of around 31.2. And that's where I think would be the most that we would go down on this retracement. And of course, to my mind, that would be a buying opportunity, especially if you're in Bitcoin from lower levels in the 20s, mid 20s to lower 20s, even in the teens. If you got in back at the beginning of the year, it would be a good time on a big dip like this, 20 to 30%, to move into altcoins, because I think they are going to dip more and then they're going to rebound back. Everything will rebound back, because normally in the past, before the halving happens, we do have one final retracement for Bitcoin and altcoins, and that is usually around the 20 to 30% level. So that's what I would be looking for in the first quarter of this year. Could be coming sooner than later if the ETF is not approved. But if it is, we might have a smaller retracement, but I think that would postpone a bigger retracement to a little bit later in the quarter. That's how I'm looking at things. So that's for Bitcoin. I want to look at a couple of major alts and a couple of narratives just to see where we're heading in this new year. So if we look at Ethereum, and again, we can see that Ethereum is kind of ranging here between, about the 2100 area to, somewhere around the 2400 area right here. I think that Ethereum is due to probably have a breakout. If it does, it has broken out of this resistance level. The next big one is all the way up here at about 2800. So I think it's really going to play mostly on the ETH BTC chart. And if we look at that, you can see that we've broke through this diagonal resistance here, came back and are testing it now. If we can break above the 0.058 right here, this resistance right here, that would be a significant higher low, and that would break the cycle of lower highs that Bitcoin has experienced all through 2023. That would be a good signal that Ethereum is back and is on the move. So I would be looking to enter into Ethereum if it does break this resistance area right here at 0.058. All right. Now let's take a look at some other altcoins of interest. Solana. And again, Solana is something where it's had a nice move since this breakout here. It's gone up, really, this is on the weekly chart. You see it's gone up 400% since it's broke its 25 level resistance area. It's a nice trade. It is consolidating right now. And I expect that the next level of resistance is probably going to be somewhere over here. Let me get this right around here, right around 138, 140. That seems to be another level of resistance. But I think in 2024, Solana is the trade of the day. A lot of people are going to FOMO into it. If we do have that 20 to 30% dip in Bitcoin, Solana is going to dip probably as much or even more. Maybe not as much as some other alts, but it's going to probably dip. And that will be another good entry if it dips back, say, from its high here. If it dips back, say 40% or so, 45%, that will bring it back down into the mid 60s. Even at even at 30, 35%, that would bring it down to the upper 70s. Somewhere in this area, if we do have a dip or lower, that would be a great buying opportunity for Solana. I do think Solana is going to move up and at least reclaim its last cycle highs, and probably go about a double from there. That's my projection for Solana. So that's one to keep a watch out. Just some other narratives. I want to look at gaming, and gaming tokens are moving. You can see that things like has had a nice move, and again, these tokens, Illuvium is still really. Let me see. Things like Illuvium and a lot of the gaming tokens are in this area where they've had a nice move, and now they've retraced back to around the 0.5 level. I would not enter here. I would be looking to enter in the sweet spot between the 0.618 and the 0.786 level, right around this area. If we have a dip, it could go even lower. That would be a good time to get back into the tokens. If you look at something like Big Time, which is had a very strong move and now is retraced back into that level. This could be something to get into now. But again, I would wait until we see what happens with the Bitcoin ETF and see if that moves the market. If it moves the market in Bitcoin, it's going to move it more so in the altcoins here. So that is the gaming. Just take a look at some of the proxies for Bitcoin, because I think that is a strong narrative in this cycle too. By proxies, what am I talking about? I'm talking about, number one, MicroStrategy, which is, MicroStrategy, which is a proxy for Bitcoin because it holds mostly Bitcoin on its balance sheet. And it really does trend with Bitcoin, but moves a lot more with a lot more volatility. So you can see that, for instance, today, Bitcoin is up a couple percent, but MicroStrategy closed right here and is now up 11% on the day. So it does move a lot quicker, both up and down, than Bitcoin. That makes it a great proxy, makes it good if you're a trader. If you like trading, this is a good one to play with. I wouldn't be buying it right now. It's kind of, it looks a little toppy to me. And again, depending on what happens with the Bitcoin ETF decision, that's going to affect the price of MicroStrategy. But I would keep this on a strong watch. And then, of course, we have some of the other miners. So something like CleanSpark, which has had a nice run, has had a little bit of a retracement now, but I think these are going to move. Again, they're very volatile. They're going to move much more than Bitcoin. They're kind of like altcoin plays against Bitcoin, all right? So when Bitcoin moves, or when Bitcoin ranges, these have an opportunity to jump a little bit. When Bitcoin moves, these are going to jump a little bit more. When Bitcoin dips, these are going to jump a little bit more too, down. So CleanSpark, Cypher, Riot is another one that I think is, ready in 2024 to have good movement. It has had a nice run up here. It's retraced back. It's right now around the 0.5, again, for these plays, I would like to get the sweet spot, which is around between the 618 and the 0.786 area. That would be around the $13 area. So again, these are plays that I think are going to be very important in 2020. These are going to be Bitcoin proxies. They're going to be good to get into. Look for the dip, and that's when I would get into these. Okay, that's all for today. If you like the content, please give us a like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.